How's she going, boys? Welcome back to Grampy's Workshop this morning. Got a little project here we're going to do. It's called a Gorilla Cart. We're going to unbox it and assemble it. You can see in the box here, it's a four-wheel cart, big wheels on it, holds up to 500 pounds they say, and it's dumpable. We have two of these carts now and they work really well. We use them around the yard and in the garden. They're pretty rugged, but they do wear out. And the carts we have now are, well, they've been used a lot, and we need another one. That's just the long and the short of it. So what I'm going to do is going to take the cart out of the box, put it on the table here, and we're going to assemble it. All right, here we are. It's got good. What we like about them is it's got nice tires. They're pneumatic tires, not solid rubber tires, and they're big so that they'll roll over rough terrain a lot easier. So that's nice. The downside of these tires is it's really cheap rubber, and well, I don't even think it's rubber. I think it's nylon. And what happens is, I think the sun eats at them and they rot, so they go flat a lot. So anyway, we end up patching them, do a lot of repairs on the tires, but it's easy to get at them. Just 4 bolts hold the rims together. You let the air out, take the bolts out, pull the rims apart, you can get at the tires or the tubes, no problem. They're 410 350s by 4s, and they're nice tires. Nice for rough terrain. But as I said, they don't stand up. Those tires just don't stand up. So here's the parts. That's the front yoke is where the kingpin goes, and the tires go on these axles. It's nothing supersonic about it, that's for sure. That's the back yoke with the axles. There's a brace piece. This is the main frame, and it's a tipping trailer. So this mechanism here that's tied on, that locks it in the down position when you want to dump it. You pull this handle out and then it dumps. So we have 4 tires, all these brackets, and there's the handle. And of course there's always cardboard. There's not a lot more plastic and styrofoam though. And then here's the actual bucket on it, and the bucket is quite a good size. But in the past, with other ones that we've had, this top ridge tends to crack, and when it cracks it loses its integrity and its strength, and that's kind of what happened to the other one. So we're going to organize all these parts, start putting her together. So here we are, we're going to start assembly. It's pretty foolproof. The instructions that come with this, it's called a Gorilla Cart, just this little instruction book. It just shows steps, no real printed instructions, just little diagrams of the steps. So that makes it really easy to follow. And of course there's fasteners for it all. And the fasteners are neat too. They're laid out on this shrink wrap package, but they're laid out by their steps. So we're going to do step 1. So we look at the instruction, and we're putting this release latch on the front of the bucket. So step 1 shows what you need, and in our little shrink wrap pack, step 1 block right here, those are the fasteners we need. So pretty simple. So that's what I'm going to do. We'll follow these steps, put it together. Alright, so we got the latch mounted on the front of the bucket. The next step says we put the main carriage on. So here's the main carriage. So that just sits in here and comes to the forward, so that this latch, there's a couple of holes in the front of the carriage here, and the fingers on this latch clip into that. That keeps it from tipping. Need a couple of bolts to put in the back. So we cut those out of my bubble wrap thing here. Put those 2 bolts in there, and we'll be back. Alright, so we have the main frame attached, so we pull out on this latch. It won't come up now, you see. We pull out on the latch, up she comes. So that's the way the dump mechanism is going to work. Now the next step is to put the back axle yoke on. So here we have the back axle yoke, and that goes on about there. And our bubble wrap. We have our nuts and bolts. So I'll put that on. We'll be back. So here's the back axle on, but that's kind of a little wobbly. So the next step is a couple of leg braces for that. So we take these protective things off the end, get the right brace on here. That goes on over the axle, and then 2 bolts go through the body. Same on the other side. We get our bubble wraps to get our nuts and bolts out of that and install it. So here we are. Got the brackets on the back wheels now, so look at that. That's a lot sturdier now. The next step calls for putting the front steering yoke on. So here we have the steering yoke. She just slips on like that. Trick here though is to make sure you put the drawbar towards the front. So that goes on there with the bolts from the rubber, from the bubble seal. So that'll bolt on there and tighten that up. So here we are with our front steering yoke on, and that nut here on the king pin, you just tighten that up so that it can turn easy, but you don't want it very sloppy. Alright, so the next step, put some wheels on this puppy. So here we go. And the way the wheels go on, they just slide on over the axles. Something like that. And in our package here we have washers and cotter pins to hold them on. That's all there is to it. They just, washer goes on, cotter pin through the key, the hole there, and that's the end of that step. So the wheels are on. They spin good. Just going to check the pressure. When you read on the tire it says max 20 I think or something. 30, oh max 30, alright. So we'll just check these and make sure that they're not over 30. And that's just 19. So I'll put a little bit of air in those. I'll check them all. But the last step is put the handle on. The handle's a nice T-handle here, easy to grip. It's got an offset here, so when you're putting it on, right now my cart's upside down. So if I put it on that way, that would be upside down. So you have to make sure that the kink here aims the handle down you're putting it on. So again, we're on step 8, the last step. We get from our bubble pack the hardware from step 8. So that bolt slides through there. There's a washer goes on there. And these were all nylock nuts, by the way. So, like for the whole assembly. So when you put those in there, they hold everything together. So maintenance on it is minimal. The only thing I ever do for maintenance, of course, have to check the tires, because as I was saying earlier, the tread part seems to rot, and there's tubes in them, and the tubes are not the best either. Like if you put too much air in them, the tubes will blow up. Anyways, that's another thing. Made in China. Grease the kingpin here so that this will turn. Put a little grease on the spindles here. There's bearings in these wheels, so they need a little bit of oil. So anyways, we'll put that on there. We'll tighten this up a little bit. And this is another thing, you don't want it too tight, but you don't want it so that it's flopping around. So maybe a little bit more than that. Okay, there we have it. Now we just flip this guy over, and lo and behold, we have ourselves a wagon. Pull her by the handle, it works great that way. Comes time to dump whatever you have in it. Pull out on this latch lever. I'm going to get sideways here a little bit. This little latch lever. Pull out on it. Up she goes. She dumps your load. And it locks down. You're ready to go get another load of whatever. Great little wagons. I recommend them. Like I say, we've got 3 of them here around the camp. They're used daily in the summertime. Not so much in the winter, but one thing we do use them for in the fall, we have lots of campfires outside. We load this up with firewood, haul it over to the fire pit. So, you know, there's thousands of uses. You'd think you'd have no use for a cart till you get a cart, and then you wonder, man, how did I get along without it? Great carts, easy to assemble, and they're a workhorse. Okay, you wonder why we have the carts? Look at that, 3 of them. We have so many because they're used a lot. There's the new one right there, ready to go, and then it's 2 older brothers. Some of the things that go wrong with these, wait till I just show you. This cart here, this is the bed, and you see how it cracks right here? Well, that's what happens to them. This one over here now, this one split at the back. Right here, there was quite a nasty crack went in that. We'll get a look at it this way. Look at that, it's cracked from there all the way down, almost past that ridge. So what I did was, to try to repair that, I just, see if I can get the camera down here so you can have a look at it. I glued a piece of plastic tubing under this little ridge, and then I put tie wraps on it. But it's held up pretty good, but I don't know how much longer it's going to last. So that's the kind of repair I need to make on this guy. As you see, that split down there to that first ridge too. So I'll have to make a repair on that one too. But like, these carts are probably 3 years old, and other than having problems with the tires on them going flat, they've been working great. So we hope that this new guy works just as well.